That's entertainment. You know, when you're a great fighter, a great entertainer in general, you want the person to say, when do I see that person again? When's he gonna play again? When's he gonna fight again? You know, you gotta be able, if you can't put in seats, you're gonna get fired. You know.
Fight, and I have Crawford winning this fight. Crawford's gonna win this fight doing something that nobody's done to Canelo.
Okay.
That's all I'm gonna say. And it didn't take me going to camp to know this.
Okay.
So Israel Majamov says that if Terence Crawford bulks up, that's going to be the biggest mistake he can possibly make. And that's going to hinder him from being victorious against Saul Canelo Alvarez.
Malignaggi reminded everyone not to ignore Davis's impact, as his record and success continue to shape the sport at the top level. Boxing pros predict that Gervonta Davis will win over Jake Paul. Many believe Davis's experience and skill give him the edge and they expect him to dominate. Paulie Malignaggi highlighted that no matter Jake's size advantage, Malignaggi reminded everyone not to ignore Davis's impact, as his record and success continue to shape the sport at the top level.
You know, fighters, pressure, right? Pressure's not being hit. You know, everybody thinks pressure's like getting on stage. No, pressure's the thought of being hit. And that's how they fall. The thought is go, I'm not hitting that hard, but they think I am.
Right. So
it's all psychological.
Are you, when you're walking to the ring, are you noticing anything or are you so locked in?
I see everything moving. Every person, every girl. I see everything.
Dude, your walk-ins would last longer than the fights sometimes.
Do anyone have a napkin on my towels? Because I'm sweating like a pit with one hole up here.
You sweat.
We will get you one.
You sweat.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're sweating like Charles Barkley at a spelling bee.
Yeah, I'm gonna be sweating pretty hard there too.
Exactly. So, Mike, we all know you hit hard. Who was the first person that when they hit you, you was like, oh, okay, this guy hits pretty hard?
Nakisa Badarian, co-founder of Most Valuable Promotions and a major figure in Jake Paul's career, spoke strongly before the Davis vs. Paul fight. He said Jake's size edge doesn't matter against a fighter like Davis. Nakisa explained this fight wasn't a quick choice but planned after Jake's match with Canelo Alvarez fell apart. His words showed how both camps have been working on big events, always chasing legacy with spectacle. Though some critics say Jake's bigger frame could hurt a smaller rival, Nakisa rejected that view. He believes speed, skill, and power beat size, and Davis has all three at the highest level.
He did that to Canelo after, so to your point, can Crawford do the same? Coming up from 54 and 47, can he, or will that, throw off the catch and shoot? I was going to catch and shoot.
We're not catching and shoot.
Make me think.
We're not catching and shoot.
We're catching it, resetting, and getting out of this range for a minute or two.
My fight with Arrow, I came back to the corner, and I had a look on my face, I guess. And my dad said, what's wrong? I said, nothing. Like, classic Sean, nothing. He said, Sean, tell me what's wrong. I said, my legs are kind of tight. He said, your legs kind of tight? He looked back, looked behind him. He would always do this and look back at the other corner. I don't know why. He looked back at them.
It was a habit, probably.
He said, all right, we're not going to use our legs so much this round. And I was thinking to myself, like, I need these legs.
I'm not trying to wear these shots.
Yeah, so, to your point, when there's a feeling,
when the nervous system goes out.
Where does that adjustment take place? Do you trust the adjustment? Do you implement it? So that next round I did settle down a little more. I was
lost the round.
Whatever. Hello.
I ain't know what round is. Chill out.
He don't even know what round it is. Pour this water on you. So we got some time until this fight. So we ain't gotta pour it all out at one time. We'll work our way up to this one.
Try to get on big guests to lead up to the fight.
Expect some more very, very big guests and expect some very, very big things from the Puerto Rico podcast. The week of Crawford versus Canelo versus Crawford takes place here. What is that? September 6th?
13th. I was just gonna say, I've been critical of the fight because I felt like it serves as a foreground to the Ali Act stuff. And
trainer Jeff Mayweather has given a different opinion by supporting Jake Paul. He argued that at this weight, Jake holds the upper hand. Paul has mostly fought as a cruiserweight, carrying more strength, reach, and natural size into fights. Davis, meanwhile, is moving up a lot to take this challenge, which creates questions about how his body will handle the jump. Jeff's prediction adds to a debate among experts.
Being successful, September 13th, Las Vegas, Nevada, Allegiant Stadium, when he takes on another first ballot Hall of Famer, 4-division world champion, 2-time undisputed world champion, and reigning undisputed super middleweight world champion, Mexican superstar boxer Saul Canelo Alvarez, who is 63 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 wins by way of knockout. Terence Crawford had one fight at 154. That was against Israel Majimov, the WBA junior middleweight world champion, right? And since then, Terence Crawford has moved up now to 168 to challenge Canelo Alvarez, okay? And so prior to that, he spent 5 years at what? Welterweight. So the concern that people have for Terence Crawford, rightfully so, is that Terence Crawford will be 38 years of age 2 weeks after the fight. So he's 37, okay? Terence Crawford has one fight at 154. Prior to that, Terence Crawford has been competing, okay, since 2018 for the last 7 years at 147. Since June of 2018, he's been fighting at 147. His only fight outside of that division in the last 5 to 6 years was his fight against Israel Majimov at 154, which he won, unanimous decision. I thought he handily won, but people thought that he struggled. Israel Majimov is now 10 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, 7 wins by way of knockout because he lost his last fight to Mexican superstar, WBC junior middleweight interim champion Virgil Ortiz Jr.
Gervonta Davis fueled excitement by posting the official promo video on Instagram. Many fans were expecting him to face Lamont Roach again, thinking he would seal his legacy by settling old scores. Instead, Davis chose to face Jake Paul on a global stage, embracing the huge spotlight. By sharing the promo, Davis reminded people that boxing is not only about history fights, but also about entertainment, business, and growing the fan base. Even though purists hoped for Roach, Davis showed he doesn't care about criticism. For him, fighting Jake Paul means gaining worldwide attention and creating one of the most viewed matches of the year.
Team Crawford just revealed that they're currently working on making sure that the Omaha native doesn't end up like Jermell Charlo this coming September 13th when he faces Canelo Alvarez. Now this report comes from Boxing Scene, wherein it was just revealed by somebody from Crawford's camp that Terence Crawford is, quote, wary of repeating the mistake that former 154-pound champion Jermell Charlo made to a new weight limit without consideration of other factors. Boxing Scene further elaborated by saying that Crawford wants to retain his ability to fight with fluidity, maximizing the effectiveness of his power punches from both hands and ability to fight from a southpaw stance. With that said, Crawford's camp is now on full lockdown from the media or any sort of distraction up until fight week. Now, it's definitely worth considering that while it's technically
Matchroom's Frank Smith shared that Davis was first set for a rematch with Lamont Roach, which many thought would add more to his legacy. But when the chance to fight Jake Paul appeared, everything changed. Smith admitted the money and global exposure linked to Paul were too big to pass up. This move shows today's boxing where fighters must balance sport with financial gain. For Davis, picking Paul was not only a business call but also a way to reach fans worldwide. Smith didn't attack the choice, but he noted how modern boxing favors crossover fights that sell huge pay-per-views. Davis's clash with Paul is both a test of skill and a chance to attract global attention.
Because the man is simply human. I mean, the more you age and the more weight you gain, of course you're going to be slower. Now, that doesn't mean that he won't be an elite fighter anymore. No, of course not. When you talk about special fighters like Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, they can handle themselves against anyone on any given night in the worst circumstances possible. That is a fact, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get back into the discussion when it comes to Terence Crawford carrying the 168 division, when it comes to the 168 pound weight. So if you actually think about it, Terence Crawford, how is the man looking right now? I know, yes. I know that we have seen the new pictures of Bud Crawford with him looking absolutely massive. But I actually talked about this in one of my previous videos, ladies and gentlemen, which you can go back and check out. Terence Crawford, don't let these pictures fool you, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let these pictures fool you. Yes, of course Terence Crawford gained weight, but the pictures make it seem like Terence Crawford looks like a heavyweight. Let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. The lighting and the pump and the angle, everything plays a part in how you look in pictures. You know what I mean? Like, this is a fact, ladies and gentlemen. I can show you 2 pictures of me taken within 24 hours, and in one picture, my physique looks completely different than the other picture. One picture I can take after having a unbelievable workout, with a nice sweat on, with a nice pump, with some nice lighting, and a nice angle. I would look completely different than when I look right now, or getting out of bed, which I just did.
One analyst spoke out against criticism of Davis for fighting Jake Paul. He said fans often look for reasons to attack fighters instead of respecting their careers. Davis has spent years in the sport, earning his place through talent, discipline, and knockout highlights. If he now wants to earn from a spectacle match, the analyst said, there is nothing wrong. This opinion reflects frustration in boxing, as many lifelong fighters get less credit than crossover stars like Jake Paul, who avoid the usual path. By facing Paul, Davis secures his biggest payday and the chance to prove he can shine on the sport's biggest stage.
Crawford, quote, it will be a sparring session for Saul Canelo Alvarez. Coach Abel Sanchez dismissed Crawford's chance against Canelo. And it's really because of the weight gain. Renowned Mexican trainer Abel Sanchez has reignited the hype surrounding Canelo Crawford, scheduled September 13th, Las Vegas. Speaking to the ring, Gennady Golovkin, trainer, says, quote, Crawford is a great fighter, but that's why weight divisions exist. Canelo has proven that when he moves up, he faces and beats the best in each category. Neither Bivol could hurt him, nor could my fighter in 2 fights. And he's talking about Golovkin. And even though Canelo and Golovkin fought 3 times, Abel did not train him for the 3rd fight. It was Jonathan Banks. So that's why he said in the 2 fights that he's familiar with, he's saying that Golovkin never really hurt Canelo. The weight jump, the big disadvantage. Crawford, undefeated record. He's 41-0, 31 knockouts. Agreed to move up to 168, blah, blah, blah. And he says, quote, if Crawford had taken 3 or 4 years to gain strength and mass properly, he would have a better chance. But doing it in just over a year is too risky. He'll be slower and Canelo will dictate the pace. Now, this is a recent picture of Crawford, who definitely looks in shape. And, you know, that's what we come to expect from a guy like Crawford.
Some fans accuse Davis of dodging tough names like Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez just to chase money with Jake Paul. While these claims are common online, others think they are unfair. Davis has always shown dominance in his divisions, beating champions and keeping an unbeaten record. Suggesting he avoids rivals disrespects his established career. Fighting Paul doesn't erase his achievements, instead, it shows how boxing today offers both legacy bouts and crossover events. Davis's choice highlights the different roads fighters can take while still protecting their place in the sport's history.